Welcome to the Vibrantly You podcast. We're your hosts, Megan Martineau
and Caitlin Cipriano. In this podcast, we talk about fitness and nutrition on your motherhood journey. Whether you are trying to conceive, pregnant, postpartum, or beyond, you are welcome here.
Nothing is off limits, and our goal is to support you in this important season of life so that you can feel vibrantly you. As a reminder, this information is not medical advice. Please see the show notes for more details.
Hello, hi, and welcome back to the Vibrantly You podcast. Today is a solo episode with your co-host, Caitlin Cipriano, your go-to for all things nutrition on your motherhood journey. Today's episode is really one that feels close to my heart, and honestly, one that I wish more women and moms were talking about in the open, because there is so much conversation around what to eat during pregnancy, what supplements to take, how to support your body, like all the things, right? You could think about all of the things that are outside of nutrition in relationship to this too. But then once postpartum comes, it feels like you're just expected to figure it out. And again, this is why I'm saying this is not just with food. This is with so many other things during this phase too. You are figuring everything out on your own, but then somehow you're expected to just bounce back while you're doing it. And I want to say this right here at the very beginning, that you do not need to bounce back. And if your relationship with food or your body feels different right now, this is very common and you are not doing anything wrong. Okay. I want to start this conversation off with something that, again, is like very, very real and personal for me during my postpartum journeys. And it's like, how do I describe this? It's like that feeling or that moment when you are looking in the mirror or trying to get dressed and you just like catch this glimpse of your body in a way that you didn't expect. And it feels like this disconnect there. It's like, this doesn't feel quite like me, or maybe even like I'm not even sure how to take care and honor this version of myself. And I think that is so nuanced and so intricate, especially in this season that is challenging. And so even layered on top of that piece, I see a lot of moms experience food guilt and even shame, and they enter this cycle of, am I eating the right things? Why am I craving this? Shouldn't I be able to have more control? And I think that can feel really confusing, even if you've done this work before. Like maybe you've worked on your relationship with food before. This can still come up. Like, this is what I personally experienced. I did a lot of work on my relationship with food and relationship with self before I had kids. And some of these things that I'm describing have still come up for me, and from time to time still come up for me. And sometimes it comes out of a place that you don't necessarily expect. And so I just want to hear you, help you feel seen, and know that I get that. I understand. And so I want people to know that postpartum is not a time maybe when your body is meant to be predictable. Your hormones are shifting. Oh my gosh, your sleep is so often disrupted for many years. Yes, those newborn days are challenging, and it does get better, but even as having both a 6 and a 2.5-year-old, like sometimes your sleep is still disrupted, right? And that's hard for a lot of people, myself included. I love sleep. So it can be challenging, and your nervous system is also adapting to this time, especially early on. Your body is healing, and so from this physiological standpoint, your body is in this state where it's going to prioritize like your safety and well-being first and foremost. And so if we relate that to our nutrition, to our food, your hunger cues might feel different. Your cravings might feel stronger. Maybe having a more like rigid and structured routine might feel harder to maintain. And so, because of some of those factors that are influenced here, this isn't you like falling off track, falling off the bandwagon. I I hate when people say that, like you have not fallen off. I guarantee if you're using that statement, you have not fallen off. Your body is doing what it is designed to do. And just like we look at, okay, how do I support myself during pregnancy? This is how do I support myself during postpartum? Because here is where I think things just start to feel hard. Like these, maybe they're not even like your expectations, they're outside, outside environmental expectations, but there can certainly be personal inside pressure too. And so some of these pressures are like, get your body back, eat perfectly, lose weight quickly, have control again. And this is like where we're overriding that physiologically, what is going on in the body during this time frame. So because of those outside factors, we start to stop like maybe listening to our body intuitively, and we try to start like acting as manager instead, and we're just like questioning and judging, and that's when the moment of like trust starts to break down, when we go through these spirals in our head. And so I want to talk about how we can rebuild that trust and rebuild that connection. Not perfectly, not all at once. Like this is far from a linear journey, but we want to first off start by asking, okay, how can we shift this control to support? So we're really looking to reframe this to support. So instead of asking ourselves questions like, what should I cut out, or what should I be stricter about, try asking yourself, what would support me right now? And some examples, right? Like let's bring in some tangible pieces for nutrition support, but can we bring in some more grounding, warming meals? Can we try to, in most of our meals, add in a great protein source and healthy fats and fiber to stabilize your blood sugar? Can we try to eat more regularly and more consistently, even on the days that feel the most chaotic? Because those pieces are about nourishment and, again, supporting our bodies with where they are at. It is not coming from a place of restriction. The second thing that I want to invite you to bring in is thinking about creating rhythms instead of roles. Postpartum, does not thrive in my personal experience and listening to a lot of moms on really rigid structures. You can obviously have time frames for things that really help you, but your body does obviously feel safe with some level of consistency there. There should be some routine and rhythms, but they do not need to be again, hard and fast rules. So from a nutrition standpoint, thinking about what are some anchoring meals that I can do regularly? What are my simple go-to options for when I'm nursing the baby or giving the baby a bottle and I need to grab something quick for a snack? What are my go-tos? And just some gentle predictability. And that could be as simple as being asking your partner, hey, could you be the go-to person for making dinners right now? And that takes a little piece of capacity off of your plate. These types of rhythm really help create safety without putting this big pressure on yourself. I want you to start practicing listening to your body during this time phase. You don't have to perfectly read your hunger cues right now, but you can, just like how Megan talks about with reconnecting to your core, we can also reconnect to our body intuitively and noticing things like when you feel a dip in energy, when do you start thinking about food? How do different types of meals make you feel? How do they impact your energy level and digestive system symptoms? And are there things that you notice that you eat that then make your baby fussy? All of these things are great to tune into. And it's not about again, being perfect or getting it right, but it's about rebuilding your awareness. And then I want to talk about just allowing yourself to feel emotions that come up, because so often it's not just about the food, and there can also be just this big shift in your identity. And then not only just if you're a first-time mom, but there's shifts that happen after you have had multiple kids as well. Maybe there's this also additional component of oh my gosh, did you have a pregnancy loss before this? Did you go through an IVF journey? There's this deep emotional layer that comes with things. Maybe you had a traumatic birth experience, or anything that didn't go the way maybe you expected for it to go. These are all massive changes. Your life has changed regardless of the nature of the outcome. These types of events completely alter us. And so, of course, we're going to experience changes in our relationship to our body because of this. And part of this rebuilding phase is allowing yourself to, again, build trust and build peace and not feel like you're constantly trying to fix. We don't have to always be fixing. And so, lastly, I want to say this. There's going to be days where, as a mom, You're eating out of convenience. You're grabbing what's quick. Maybe it's not always balanced, right? This doesn't undo anything, right? You didn't fall off the wagon. This is just part of the season. And while, yes, we want you to focus on nourishment, your body doesn't need perfection in order to heal. It does need consistency, support, and compassion from yourself. And so, if there's one thing I want you to take away from this episode, it's that you don't rebuild trust with your body by controlling it. You rebuild it by supporting it, by listening, by nourishing, by allowing things to feel simple, and allowing your body to be on your side again. If this is something that you're navigating right now, this is exactly the kind of work I support women through. I have a variety of resources and levels of those resources, all the way from guides and mini courses in cycle syncing, all the way up through one-on-one coaching. So if you are looking for support, you can check out the show notes. That is a great place. And as always, I'm so glad you're here. Come back next week for an episode with Megan.